Search warrants released. A new look into what led to the arrest of the man accused of murdering a Ravenscroft teacher. What these new documents are revealing about the case.
Breaking news this noon hour, a shooting in the parking lot of the Food Line on Creedmoor Road. We're live on the scene and what we're learning from investigators at this hour.
We're headed into a little heat wave with a streak of days with highs in the 90s. I'll show you when a cold front finally comes through, cools us off, and brings us a small chance for rain.
Stay hydrated, everyone. Our temperatures will be near record highs for the rest of the work week. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Laura Levine. Thanks for joining us this noon. Every day this week has the potential to hit 90 degrees or more. So WRAL's Elizabeth Garner is live in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a quick look at the forecast and a look over Pinehurst, Elizabeth.
You know, when it's nice weather like this, I love to pull up the Pinehurst camera because look at it. I mean, so many people out there. It's funny. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what the weather is, they're always out there. But shorts and t-shirts today, it looks beautiful. It's very comfortable currently, 80 degrees. We have a southwest wind at 10. That southwesterly wind is what's pushing all this warmth in. But it'll be much hotter by the middle of the afternoon. We'll climb into the upper 80s. And these temperatures for today will be over 15 degrees above normal. Then we climb into the 90s, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But let's check the area. 77 in Apex, 77 Cary, 76 in Knightdale, 80 degrees there in Holly Springs. So it feels comfortable at the moment. But again, we are looking at a hot afternoon, 89 in Fayetteville, 88 in Durham, and 88 in South Hill. So feeling very much like summer. We hit 94 tomorrow. If we hit 91 tomorrow, that will tie the record. It will also be the first time we've hit the 90s at RDU. A few weeks ago, we hit 90 in Fayetteville and in some other areas. We haven't officially hit it at RDU. And look at that. By Saturday, 94 degrees. So what's going on out there? We're looking at a big dome of heat that's starting to build around the area. That high today of 88 will be close to the record high of 91 in Fayetteville, 89 versus 93. But by Thursday, we could end up tying the record high, and then we're close to it again getting into the weekend. So this big area of high pressure is pulling up the warmth from the south. It will also keep us dry, so the lack of rain continues, and of course we have that potential for record highs. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about our next chance of rain. It's a small one, but we have a front that'll arrive over the weekend. I'll walk you through that coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. Breaking at noon now, a confession in the killing of a local teacher. Newly released search warrants show Ryan Camacho, the man accused of killing Zoe Welsh, indicated to investigators he knew why they were questioning him.
WRAL's Sean Gallagher joins us now. And Sean, you looked at those search warrants. What did they tell us?
Not only are they showing us what Camacho told police about his role in this whole situation here, but it also indicates what those investigators found and took as evidence, which included Camacho's bloody clothes and also a rock he had in his jacket that he may have used in the murder of Zoe Welsh. Now, according to these search warrants, Welsh heard Camacho break into her home and had recognized him from being at Fletcher Park in the past. And while she was on the phone with 911, she could be heard screaming at Camacho while she was being attacked. After investigators took Camacho into custody, and while he was being interviewed, the warrant shows Camacho, quote unquote, made an utterance about Welsh's death, indicating he knew how Welsh died and asked if this was about the woman he killed. Now, Camacho's competence to stand trial is still yet to be determined, but back in December for a separate unrelated burglary case, a forensic evaluator determined he was not able to proceed there. Right now, he remains behind bars, still locked up with no bond. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
We've been on top of this story since the beginning of the year. We have background on the beloved Ravenscroft teacher, Zoe Welsh, as well as the man charged with her murder. Visit the WRAL YouTube channel for a timeline of our coverage.
3 people are charged in connection to a shooting in Raleigh we first reported yesterday. Angie Bravo was arrested and charged with the murder. LaMargaret Hockaday is charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to inflict serious injury. And Jermaine Johnson is charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to inflict serious injury and accessory after the fact to murder. The shooting happened around 5:30 yesterday evening on Thelma Street. Police found 27-year-old Terrence Quarles with a gunshot wound. He later died at the hospital.
With 90-plus degree temperatures on the way this week, a lot of us will be cranking up the air conditioning, and that could result in a bigger bill you weren't expecting for April. WRAL's Monica Casey is live in Durham. Monica, you're speaking with experts about how we can all cut on our energy costs.
Well, Renee, one quick option right off the bat, take a look at your ceiling fan. You want that to be rotating counterclockwise right now during this warm weather. That will create a wind chill effect. Now, when it comes to actually turning your AC on, make sure you have a clean air filter. If you know you're going to be out of your house or apartment for a few hours, turn the AC down while you're gone. I spoke with Jeff Brooks at Duke Energy about other ways to save.
Also, closing the blinds on the sunny side of the house. You'd be amazed how much temperature comes into the house just from radiant heat from the sunlight through our windows. So that can help keep your home a little bit cooler.
Checking for leaks around doors and windows is also important, seeing where you may need to install a weather strip around a door. Now, Brooks says when we get into the summer months, your air conditioning can actually amount to about 50% of your electricity bill. So taking these steps right now is important to save you more money down the line as well. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Conserving water to conserving energy, and it could affect your water use. I'm talking about this ongoing drought that we're experiencing. Well, just within the last hour, our assignment desk confirmed with the city of Raleigh that there is a potential for Raleigh to implement water use restrictions in the coming weeks. Here's a look at video of a major water source in Raleigh. We're talking about Falls Lake. The city says given the current water supply levels and the forecasted lack of rain, that could force the city to limit how much water people can use and at what time of the day. Again, this is just a possibility right now, but as our team of meteorologists, including meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, have been reporting for the last several days, there's no measurable rainfall so far. And of course, we'll keep you updated if the city makes this a when and not an if.
Ken, thank you. You can track the rising temperatures with the WRAL weather app. It is free to download from your phone's app store. Make sure to turn on push notifications so you can get important weather alerts sent right to your home screen. We're following more breaking news this hour. Raleigh police are piecing together a crime scene on Creedmoor Road.
Yes, it all began with reports of a shooting near the Food Lion. WRAL's Carly Haynes arrived at that scene in the last half hour. Carly, we understand there was also a crash near the shooting site as well.
And we've learned that those two scenes are connected to one another. In fact, Raleigh police just wrapped up a news conference truly within the past 2 minutes. And we got a lot of new information about these scenes that have played out over this area, including the fact that they are still looking for a suspect. I want to step out of the way to show you the scene that we're standing in front of right now. The parking lot in front of the Food Lion is blocked off. We see an active investigation with Raleigh police officers, as well as evidence markers. Now, let's go into what Raleigh police say has happened. We're going to cut to some Sky 5 video right now. Police say this was just after 10:30 when they responded to the parking lot. They saw evidence of a shooting with those shell casings and a gun that had been left here. Police discovered there were two vehicles involved. They say the drivers of both vehicles got into a verbal fight. They began shooting at each other. Then the driver of one of the vehicles drove off, and that's where that crash scene happened at Millbrook and Winthrop. That is connected to the shooting scene. Police say they got a call that a person walked into a hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. They believe that person was the driver of the truck that crashed. However, that other car involved, they say they're still looking for the driver of that car right now. So there's an active search. We asked if there was any threat to the public. They said they want anybody who might see anything suspicious to call them. No arrests have been made so far. This is an active investigation. Of course, these details are still coming out. We're going to bring you the latest as we get it. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Very fluid situation. Carly, thank you. Happening today, the town of Apex will hear from the community about plans to pause data center developments. This comes nearly a month after a developer changed their mind about building one in the area. Apex Mayor Jacques Gilbert tells us that the one-year pause would allow the town to do more research. Last year, many people protested a new data center development. The developers scrapped the plans in March. Apex is one of a handful of communities moving forward with pauses on data centers. Wake County commissioners discussed how to lead these efforts last month. The public hearing will be tonight at 6. And with that in mind, also happening today in Sanford, the city council will be talking about a draft rule really set to establish data center land use regulations. That gets started at 1 this afternoon. The meeting is open to the public, but there is no opportunity for public comment. Anyone wishing to give feedback can speak at the next council meeting. That's on April 21st.
School years for several Wake County schools could start to look different. It's because the school board is considering changes to those schools' calendars. Now, the school system is considering moving up to 6 schools from the multi-track year-round schedules to traditional or single-track year-round schedules. Multi-track year-round calendars are when students are divided into 4 groups. 3 tracks are when kids are in school, while 1 track is on break. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst explains why multi-track year-round schools are not as effective in eastern Wake County.
A lot of these changes have been concentrated in the last couple of years in eastern Wake County, where they expected all this growth, but then there were a lot of charter schools in eastern Wake County. Just a lot of different things have occurred in those areas, and the schools just haven't been as big as they were originally planned for.
In other words, not as many students in those schools. Today's meeting is just a discussion about calendar changes. A vote will not happen until May.
The U.S. military is showing a deadly strike on a suspected drug trafficking boat in the Eastern Pacific. And we should warn you that these images could be disturbing to some viewers. Southern Command says the vessel was moving along known smuggling routes when it was hit Monday. 2 people on board, described as narco-terrorists, were killed. The military also released a video of a similar strike over the weekend.
Israel came to a standstill today. A 2-minute siren sounded across the country to mark Holocaust Remembrance Day. People stopped in the streets and drivers got out of their cars to honor the 6 million Jews killed during World War II. A wreath-laying ceremony followed at the World Remembrance Holocaust Center, with Israeli leaders attending, including President Isaac Herzog and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The Carolina Hurricanes lost last night, but they still have something to celebrate. The team clinched the #1 spot in the playoffs during yesterday's overtime loss against the Philadelphia Flyers. This means the team will have a home ice advantage in the Eastern Conference during the playoffs. Tonight, the Canes play the New York Islanders to wrap up the regular season. Playoffs begin Saturday at Lenovo Center. And tonight, the Wilson Warbirds will play their first game in their new stadium. They'll host the Hill City Howlers in front of an expected sold-out crowd. This is the team's first season in Wilson after moving there from Zebulon. First pitch for tonight's game will be at 7:05 p.m.
Next at noon, missing in the Bahamas, the husband of the woman who disappeared after reportedly falling from a boat, now released from police custody. Why he's still considered a suspect.
And intruder alert. A Ring doorbell camera captures intense moments before a home intruder breaks into the home. The man charged after the homeowner fights him off with a shovel.
Freedom Plane, a plane carrying documents dating back to the American Revolution, landed on the West Coast. The tour delivering pieces of America's history.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
The man who says his wife accidentally fell off their boat in rough seas in the Bahamas has been released from custody without charges. But the police commissioner says Brian Hooker is still considered a suspect. NBC's Jesse Kirsch reports from Freeport, Bahamas.
Brian Hooker walked out of this police station here in Freeport in the Bahamas last night, flanked by his lawyer, not answering questions. All we heard him say was, "Excuse me," 2 different times before that group drove away from this police station. Meanwhile, the police commissioner here in the Bahamas tells me that Hooker is still considered a suspect in the case of the disappearance of his wife, Lynette, who was last believed to have been seen more than a week ago now. Brian Hooker has denied all wrongdoing, according to his lawyer. And Brian Hooker says that his wife fell from the couple's dinghy in rough conditions. All this playing out as this case has gotten a lot of attention back in the United States. The police commissioner here in the Bahamas tells me that police presented their case to the prosecutor's office late yesterday and ultimately decided against charges for now. But the police commissioner says Brian Hooker is still considered a suspect. The police commissioner tells me that investigators have not found any evidence beyond a flotation device that has been recovered. And the police commissioner tells me that investigators are still hopeful that they can find Lynette Hooker and will continue searching as long as possible. Back to you.
And family and friends of Lynette Hooker are holding out hope that the mother will be found alive. The parents of a Philadelphia area woman are seeking answers in her death. Ashley Robinson traveled to Tanzania last week with her fiance to celebrate her birthday. Her parents say 3 days into the trip, the couple got into a fight and moved into separate rooms. He later told her parents that she hanged herself. The family says officials in Tanzania were not given the family surveillance video they've requested, and now they're considering traveling there in person.
Okay, now to this chilling camera video. A home security camera captures the moment a man threatens a homeowner in California. A viral video here shows a man demanding to enter a home in Northern California. He rings the bell several times asking to see the family's daughter. The man claimed to be Harry Druston, a popular fantasy character. The homeowner was away at the time, but his wife and small child were inside the home. When the homeowner asked him to leave, it triggered this reaction. Just unreal. The homeowner raced home to find the intruder inside his home. The police arrived while the men were fighting. The intruder, identified as Jason Nicholas, faces numerous felony counts, including annoying or molesting a child under 18 years of age.
A man charged with a Molotov cocktail attack at the home of OpenAI CEO and its headquarters is due in court today. The FBI says 20-year-old Daniel Moreno Gama traveled from Houston to California and launched an attack at Sam Altman's home Friday morning. A short time later, security cameras captured him striking the glass doors outside the company's San Francisco headquarters. No one was injured in either attack. Police arrested Moreno Gama on scene. Investigators say he had a multi-page document criticizing artificial intelligence as well as multiple executives at AI companies. Moreno Gama is charged with attempted murder and attempted arson charges. He could also face charges related to domestic terrorism.
Well, in case you missed it, SpaceX launched the Falcon 9 rocket before dawn. And boy, did our viewers flood the WRAL Reported app. These pictures came from Maurice in Nightdale. He paused his early morning run to capture these images. The curvature of the Earth made it look like the rocket's vapor trails were traveling sideways. And as always, if you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather wherever you are, please report it to us. You can go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tips to our news team. Yeah, the video that our photographer Charles Bradley got earlier this morning really stopped us in our tracks to just see how clear it was, Elizabeth.
Yeah, it was so neat. The perfect conditions out there to see it this morning. It wasn't cold. The skies were clear. It was neat. So thanks everybody for sending us the great photos. Take a look at this. Speaking of time and perfect, the Durham Bulls had an 11 o'clock start time for their game today. So here it is, 12:19, and they are solidly into the game, and so many people out there. Now, I think it's 3 different Tuesdays during April into early May. They do this thing called Education Days. And so this is a great big field trip for a bunch of school children. What you can't see down the third baseline is a lot of different exhibits for the kids to learn something while they're out there at the ballpark. But what a perfect day for it. Oh my goodness. 80 degrees right now, wind southwest at 10. That southwesterly wind is pushing that warmth in. So we're going to climb all the way into the upper 80s this afternoon. But right now it's 78 in Apex, 77 in Garner, 78 degrees in Wake Forest. It feels really comfortable. We're not looking at much humidity in the atmosphere right now, so it really feels good, even though it's going to be hot. Temperatures in the upper 80s for today in Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville, and really the entire viewing area. And we're talking about temperatures being close to records and in the 90s for the next several days. So for tomorrow, we'll be 1 degree from the record. Thursday, it looks like we'll be a degree from the record, and then maybe 3 degrees on Friday. Saturday, we're about 1 degree from the record as well. If we hit 91 yesterday, which is our forecast, it'll be the first time that we've been in the 90s officially at RDU. So what's going on? Why are we seeing this heat wave in April. It's early for that. It's all about that high pressure system. It's rotating clockwise and pulling up all that warmth. And sometimes these systems will just stall. And that's exactly what's happening right now. It's forcing all the cold fronts that head our way either up or over us. And so we're seeing showers and thunderstorms to our north and west, but not here as long as that high is in place. So the high will keep pushing the warmth in. So again, 91 for tomorrow. We'll have a cold front that gets close to us on Friday, but that high will block it and send it north. So we'll be hot on Friday. And then look at that, Saturday, 94. Finally, Sunday, we'll have a front that moves in. We're going to talk about how much rain or not we'll end up seeing with that. We do have a statewide burn ban across North Carolina until further notice, and it's not likely to be dropped this weekend, maybe not even next weekend. We just still don't have any rain in the forecast. We're dry all the way through Saturday. Here's what it would take within a month to end the drought, and it depends on where you are, but right in the triangle, it would take 9.7 inches, and across the viewing area, it would be somewhere between 8 and 9 inches. If we saw that, over a longer period of time, maybe once a week, 2 inches, we'd be okay, but if we got it all at one time, we would definitely be in for some flooding. Again, Sunday is going to be our best chance of rain. It will be minimal. It's only a 30% chance, but a big drop in our high. We go from 94 Saturday all the way to 70 on Monday. We'll talk a little bit more about the timing for that and how much rain we could end up seeing coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, state lawmakers are releasing recommendations for treating people with mental illness who are involuntarily committed. We'll break down the new list of guidelines.
And at 6 p.m., drive smarter, spend less. With gas prices squeezing drivers, small changes can help you go farther on every tank. How smarter driving, better maintenance, and a few simple habits can add up to real savings at the pump. Mark Zuckerberg will soon have a virtual version of himself. That's according to a Financial Times report. The AI 3D version of Zuckerberg is reportedly being trained to recreate his mannerisms and tone. The company hopes the clone will also be able to offer advice for Meta staffers. The report adds that Zuckerberg is involved in building out his AI doppelganger. It's unclear when the AI clone of Zuckerberg will debut.
The maker of Ozempic and Wegovy is teaming up with OpenAI to help speed up drug development. Novo Nordisk says it will use OpenAI's technology to identify promising drug candidates and make manufacturing and supply chain.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
The man accused of killing a Ravenscroft teacher confessed to the murder. That's according to newly released search warrants.
Ryan Camacho was arrested shortly after Zoe Welsh was killed inside her home in January. While being interviewed, Camacho indicated he knew how Welsh died and why he was in custody. Asking if this was about the woman he killed, the warrants show investigators took Camacho's clothing covered in blood as evidence, and that he had a rock in his jacket pocket and he may have used to kill Welsh with it. Camacho remains behind bars with no bond as his competency, that is, to stand trial is being determined.
Major shakeup in Washington, D.C. overnight. Congressman Eric Swalwell says he will resign his seat in the House following a wave of sexual misconduct allegations. NBC's Ryan Nobles shares reaction from one of his alleged victims.
This morning, the fallout from two high-profile scandals on Capitol Hill. Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez and Democrat Eric Swalwell both announcing their departures from Congress yesterday. Swalwell, a California representative and a staple of the House for 13 years, officially resigning after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct from at least 4 women. The 45-year-old married father of 3 writing on X, "I am deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for mistakes in judgment I've made in my past. I will fight this serious false allegation made against me. However, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make." The allegations range from inappropriate text messages to sexual assault. One former staffer claiming Swalwell assaulted her in a Manhattan hotel room. NBC News has verified the woman worked for Swalwell, though her attorney declined to provide any comment. The incident is now under investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney. Another accuser, Democrat influencer Alisa Marco, telling NBC News Swalwell offered to help her get a job on Capitol Hill when she was 24, then started sending her nude messages over Snapchat. So Marco called Swalwell's decision to resign the right thing to do.
And I don't think those women in his office or on Capitol Hill in general should be around him for one more day.
NBC News has not independently corroborated the other woman's allegations. Before Friday's allegations, Swalwell was a top polling Democratic candidate for California governor.
I'm running to be the next governor of California.
Across the aisle, Gonzalez announcing his retirement overnight. The married father of 6 had previously admitted to an affair with the staffer who later died by suicide.
I made a mistake and I had a lapse in judgment.
Gonzalez already planned on leaving after this term.
I'm ready. All right, happening now in the WRAL Live Center. We have some breaking news we're following right now out of the Chapel Hill Carrboro school system. This is a live look with the help of Sky 5 over Carrboro High School.
Today, a judge in Texas will hear more testimony about the deadly 4th of July floods at a girls' camp. 28 people, including 25 campers, died, and an 8-year-old girl remains missing. The co-owner testified yesterday that he missed the weather warnings. He also acknowledged the camp had no detailed written flood evacuation plan. The camp has applied with state regulators to renew its license so that it can open an elevated area that did not flood. Camp Mystic plans to reopen in less than 2 months, and nearly 900 girls have registered to attend. Legendary college basketball analyst Dick Vitale is fighting cancer for the 5th time. Vitale confirmed he was diagnosed with melanoma in his lung and liver cavities. The 86-year-old said he will start immunotherapy soon. The longtime announcer previously fought through melanoma, lymphoma, vocal cord, and lymph node cancers. He says he's 4 for 4 and plans to beat this diagnosis. He just wrapped up his 46th year covering college basketball.
Prince Harry and Meghan are in Australia this week. The couple arrived in Melbourne today for a 4-day trip, their first trip there since stepping back from the royal duties. While the trip is focused on charities and community groups, it's also drawing questions about public security costs. Stops include a children's hospital, a women's shelter, and veterans events. Rising waters, flooding concerns are growing in parts of Michigan, why some families are being told to get ready now in case conditions get worse.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. We want to stay on top of that breaking news we've been following out of Carrboro High School. Let's get right to these live pictures at Carrboro High School. Here's what we know in terms of what the school has posted on its website. Apparently, there was some type of gunshots that were heard near this eating area where students were. As you can see, they left everything behind and were all told to get inside the school. So right now, the school is on lockdown. There's a heavy police presence in that area. As Sky 5 pulls back, you can show you exactly the magnitude of what happened. This clearly happened at a time when the students were having lunch, and right now they've left everything in place and they're all inside the school. So let me show you what that's on the school's website right now, telling people what happened. The sound of gunshots were found outside in the area. At this early stage, there's no evidence that anyone at or with the school has been hurt. Again, the school remains on lockdown. So let's go back to the video from Sky 5. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. There's no activity outside the school, which means all the students are inside right now. They're asking parents not to come to the school because all the students are safe. There's a heavy police presence. Again, shots were fired nearby. Students were told to get inside, and that's exactly what they did. We'll continue to follow this here in the WRAL Live Center and, of course, in WRAL.com.
Backpacks and paper scattered all over there. Thank you, Ken. Most of North Carolina, including the Raleigh area, is under a severe drought. You may have noticed it in your garden already. Farmers are certainly feeling it right now. More than 3/4 of the state is in a severe drought. In 17% of the state, the drought is considered extreme. It doesn't just affect the amount of water, but also the quality. That is putting a strain on anyone with livestock. Some farmers in our area are having to make tough choices about whether to plant their crops.
But the calendar still rolls on and on and on. So we can't wait too long for that. So we're going to take a chance, hoping that the moisture in the ground is adequate enough for us to go ahead and plant our tobacco and soybeans.
Our state saw the 37th driest February on record since 1885. That's according to the National Integrated Drought Information System. If nothing changes in a few weeks, some farmers tell us they'll be in trouble.
Flooding concerns are growing in northern Michigan. New cell phone video from Indian River shows that floodwaters there in Michigan are rising after days of heavy rain and melting snow. People near the county dam are being told to get go bags ready in case evacuations are ordered. More rain this week could make things worse. And while they're dealing with flooding concerns, we have major drought concerns. Just a very, very slim chance for us this weekend. But Elizabeth, that's just a trickle. We need a fire hose to alleviate the drought, while Michigan has way too much rain,
and
clearly.
It's actually somewhat related. I'm going to show you on the map in just a few minutes. The high pressure system that's bringing us all the dry air is actually causing fronts to stall up in the north. And so those fronts are just sitting there and it's just raining. And we're stuck
keeping
here.
us dry.
And we're dry. So we need to break up that pattern. We're going to do that a little bit over the weekend, but it's really not going to be much. The main story for the next several days is going to be that our temperatures will be near record highs. We probably will hit the 90s by tomorrow, and we'll see 90s all the way up until Saturday. Then on Sunday, it does look like a front will finally be able to break the barrier and move through, but at that point, it's still not going to have much rain with it. But what it will do is really drop our temperatures from 90s back into the 70s, which is where we should be this time of year. It's making for some pretty weather. You can see from our Jimmy V camera, plenty of people walking up and down Fayetteville Street there on their lunch hour, probably 80 degrees, a little bit of a breeze, southwest wind at 10, but that wind coming out of the southwest is what's helping to keep those warm temperatures in place. Our normal high is 72, and so we hit those 90s 4 days in a row, all 4 of those days. Even today at 88, all of those are very close to record highs. So relief in sight will come from the front that comes on Sunday. It's not going to be relief in terms of rain, but it definitely will drop our temperatures. Not much rain, but again, big drop in the afternoon highs in particular. So here's what's happening. We were talking about all that rain up in Michigan. We have high pressure over the southeast. That high pressure system is sitting here and it's not moving, so it's acting as a blocking pattern. And those fronts are stalled up around the Great Lakes and up near the Canadian border, and then stretching back down across parts of the west. Now that one will stay there for several more days. By Friday, we see that front approaching us, but by the time it gets here, the high is still fairly strong, and it's not going to allow that rain to move in. Now another one, as we get through Sunday, finally gets here. It looks like by the time it crosses into our part of North Carolina, Sunday afternoon and evening, there's not a whole lot of rain left with it. And so we're still going to be dealing with drought conditions, most likely for quite some time. We only have a 30% chance of rain on Sunday.
Elizabeth, thank you. Up next, a word legacy. On this day, a book was published that helped define American English. Why Noah Webster's dictionary still shapes the words we use today.
And here is a look at your winning Powerball numbers: 38, 43, 59, 63, 64. The Powerball is 15 and the multiplier is 3.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. Breaking news, Carrboro High School is on lockdown right now after school leaders reported hearing gunshots in the area. Police are on scene and all staff and students will remain indoors during the course of the lockdown. Officers got to the school around 12:15 p.m. The Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools District says that no one associated with the school is hurt. This is a developing situation. We will have updates on WRAL.com and on our news at 4.
And we are staying on top of more breaking news right now. One person is hurt after a shooting in a Food Lion parking lot in Raleigh. This happened just before 10:30 at the location on the 5600 block of Creedmoor Road. Police say two drivers got into a fight, that is, in the parking lot, then shot at each other. Police say a victim walked into a local hospital. At this time, no word on the extent of their injuries or any potential suspect information.
Newly released search warrants show Ryan Camacho, the man accused of killing Zoe Welsh, indicated to investigators he knew why they were questioning him. Search warrants also reveal that after investigators took him into custody, he, quote, made an utterance about Welsh's death. This indicated he knew how the Ravenscroft teacher died and asked if this was about the woman he killed. Camacho is in jail under no bond.
On this day in 1828, the first American English dictionary was published. Noah Webster's work was titled The American Dictionary of the English Language. It had around 70,000 words, including 12,000 that had never appeared in print before.
I use it often, and I have used the online version too. Our pet of the day comes to us from the Wake County Animal Center. We have Sunday here. He's full of puppy energy, needs puppy training. Sunday is learning how to focus, so basic obedience should be top priority. He's treat motivated and wants to be a part of the action no matter how big or small. In playgroups, he displays manners with both male and female partners, ready to engage in some easy play. If you want to learn more about him, just reach out to the email address there on your screen. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And you can get more breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. We hope you have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.